Good evening and welcome to the Bitternators podcast. It is March 28, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
And Cynthia's here.
Hello.
The gang's all back together. I feel like we should be singing this, that song at the end of Grease. We go together.
Oh, fuck that song. I go the rest of my life without ever fucking hearing that shit again.
But I do love Grease.
Fuck that nonsense.
So angry about it too.
Yeah.
I guess you're not a fan of Grease 2 either.
Oh, fuck no.
Okay, so lots of stories I want to get into. I really want to talk about all the misinformation coming out about Emma Gonzalez, one of the Parkland school shooting. What's that school called? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, something like that.
Yeah.
Protesting this, the big March for Your Lives this weekend, where teens and people of all ages went out and protested against gun violence, and people are really attacking these kids. I get that they're against your agenda, but like spreading one thing to just be like, you know what, let's keep our guns. You're not going to take our guns. I get it. That's your opinion. That's your right to have your opinion. But when you are like taking pictures of this girl and making it seem like she's ripping up the Constitution, how's she getting the fucking Constitution? It's locked up under key and guard and alarms. Like, even Nicolas Cage had a hard time.
I was just gonna say, is she fucking Nick Cage? Like,
and like, they're making that, and then they have the one I saw yesterday that Sister Patty shared was they used the picture of Britney when she was going crazy attacking the paparazzi's car and said it was her. Like, come on, that's like everybody knows Britney attacking the car with the umbrella.
Oh yeah, her meltdown is fucking famous, right?
Yeah, like who's stupid? I mean, maybe young people that weren't around then or watching the news, but anybody else knows what that is. And if you actually shared that, you're too dumb to own a gun.
Oh, the people I've seen sharing this stuff it's fucking ridiculous. Like, and again, just to hold on to the right to murder one another.
Yeah, like like we've said, we're not anti-gun, right? We're what people should have and shouldn't have, or like you said, the way people want to murder each other in America. Some people, it's crazy. I just don't get how you think that spreading misinformation is helping your cause. It makes you look like just completely unhinged.
From the one person that I've seen who is a American gun nut, like this guy, he showed me pictures of his collection. I think he has like somewhere around 60 firearms.
Jesus.
And the feel that I get from him is it's about the misinformation. It's about just whipping up a frenzy of just nothing but anger. You know what I mean? Like, nothing they say is valid. He was going off about her bomber jacket, how she had a Cuban flag. That's where her ancestry's from. She's represented it. But I can remember a year ago him chirping about the Confederate flag. Oh, it's heritage, not hate. It's heritage, not hate. But yet you're sitting here, calling this girl down to the fucking lowest because she's rocking her heritage. Like, what is it?
This is the thing. If you're Cuban, most Cubans do not love the government in Cuba, but they're still proud to be Cuban people. Yeah. My husband wears an Irish flag and a Scottish flag. He's proud of those, those roots. Doesn't mean he agrees with every decision those governments make. That's ridiculous. Come on. I did see a story today that kind of upset me. I hadn't heard this yet. Immediately after the Parkland shooting, the NRA received 500% times the amount of donations that they usually have. Yeah.
Of course.
Fucking sickos out there.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I just find the whole fucking argument funny from the Second Amendment side. They want their guns, right, according to the Second Amendment, so they can protect themselves from a tyrannical government, correct? Like, that's what it's about.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you guys keep voting in politicians that do nothing but spend more money on drones and shit that you can't defend yourself from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how the fuck can you literally justify keeping these guns to protect yourself from a government that you cannot protect yourself from? Like,
and not even just the federal government. You even go to municipal and you see how these police in each little town have tanks and like freaking, what do you call those? Like, you call them when you're kids, those rocket launchers and stuff. They have these crazy military grade weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
At your local police, and most of these small towns don't even have like one murder a year, let alone like something like Chicago and New York would have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. To me, the whole damn thing's comical. Like, it really is. I mean, it sucks that, you know, kids fucking died, but I mean, I've
Yeah.
been enjoying the ride fucking since, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love how we see, well, and then today that Rick Santorum, he had to come back and say he misspoke when he said that instead of protesting guns, kids should learn CPR. I guess he realized how stupid he sounded. Well, yeah. And when a 17-year-old points out how stupid you are, you must feel really embarrassed with yourself. So.
Well, that too, and like every argument I see is essentially a logical fallacy coming from the Second Amendment side. There's no real weight to any of these arguments. Like none of the points they're making are actually valid. It's just grandstanding. Like it's all bullshit. Like I get it. You love your guns, cool. Like that's awesome. That's cool. But you have to put, you know, the public's life ahead of your own personal wants to own firearms, you know? And
if you love guns so much, right, can you really be against, like, you know, like how we have it here in Canada or in Japan or in the UK, where you have to wait a few days to get your gun or maybe a couple weeks and get a background check? Is that really so awful?
No, I mean, like, I don't know the ins and outs of obtaining a firearm in the US.
Yeah, me either.
I really don't. Like,
I don't either.
I got my information from Bowling for Columbine on this, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
It's just, again, the whole thing's fucking hilarious. Like, it's too stupid. It's so stupid that it's a fight. You know, the fact that like they're picking on these kids and demeaning these children for standing up for what they believe in. Like they don't want to get murdered while they're at school. Is that such a bad thing? Yeah. Like, is that really so bad? You know?
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I think that we have come. I cannot begin to constantly reiterate the same thing over and over again each and every fucking week. I'm going to sound like a broken record player if I don't already sound one.
Yeah.
The problem is it's because we don't have a middle ground anymore. No. It's either this or that. It's either you like pancakes or you don't. It's either like you like strawberries or you don't. It's either you want guns or you don't want guns. I think a lot of people take everything to be so black and white, and it's really not supposed to be black and white. I think that these people are, like Arthur had said, just fighting to not feel like when I was going to school, I wasn't fearful that I was going to get shot the fuck up.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. But that was not prevalent during my time.
No.
You know, and that was almost, no, not almost. Well, yeah, it will be in June, a decade ago.
Yeah.
I can not name, but I can list how many shootings had occurred. One that particularly that comes into my mind during my era, at least, was Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And that was about the only thing that I can even remotely remember. It wasn't a prevalent thing. This wasn't something that was coming up on the news I hate to say this, Jacqueline, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong for saying this. I wanted to say every 2 weeks, but it seems like I'm hearing about this every day. It seemed like such a passé thing to hear on the news that there was a shooting in Maryland, last week?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was so passé.
It was over and done with within the day. It didn't, because also too, you got to remember, it wasn't a mass shooting, right? No. And we got and then that story came out also today about that Maryland shooting, because we all heard about the good guy with the gun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the one. Yes, he did shoot at the murderer. I'm going to call him a murderer, but that murderer actually killed himself.
Yeah.
So the good guy with the gun wasn't quite as effective as we were led to believe. Still a hero because he did try to stop. I'm not going to question him.
But it was a police officer. That's his fucking job.
Yeah,
he's not a civilian. He's not a fucking regular, everyday person waking up, strapping a firearm to his fucking hip and going, I'm going to murder someone today if I get the chance.
Yeah. This is a police officer. You're paid to do that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's my whole thing. That's always going to be the part that I'm going to come back to, and it's always going to make me mad. You wake up, you put a gun to your fucking hip, you go outside, and you're telling the world that you are ready to kill people.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do I want you around me? If you were that unhinged that you're seriously planning your day around fucking the potential that you might have to take someone's fucking life, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And it's just shocking when you like really think about it. Now, I'm sure in a place like New York where you live, Ryan, it's not like this, but like, can you imagine going to your grocery store and seeing people carrying guns openly? Or going to the DMV or going to work and having to work with somebody every day that has a gun on them.
But can I just be frank and tell you guys a story that happened this weekend? And actually, Jacqueline knows a little bit about this. I was out pretty late on Saturday. Remember, Jacqueline? I was out pretty late. I was not drinking. I wasn't doing anything weird, just to kind of put a little bit of a foretelling on the story here. I was visiting a family member. And on my way home, I did not feel comfortable in the Uber. And no, it wasn't because of the person's race, because the person was not black. I did not feel comfortable because I felt like that person had a gun.
Yeah.
And he was talking in a foreign language that I could not understand. And I don't know that if all of a sudden he would pull over and I would, you know what I mean, they would just start shooting me.
Yeah.
That is now a valid fear, by the way. It's now a valid something that a lot of people have to really think about. Growing up, I didn't think about that.
No.
The most I had to think about was, how am I going to get the new pair of sneakers that I've been craving to have? To sound as vain as possible.
That's how we are when we're kids, right?
It's just dumb. And I mean, I'm happy that these kids are at least sticking their fucking necks out. I mean, they're gonna bear a lot of bullshit. They really are. These children that are standing up and marching and organizing, you know, they're under the gun, you know, speak.
Can I just be frank about Emma Gonzalez's physical attributes? That something that I think a lot of us are ignoring and should be talked about. She is the quintessential, the epitome of what we think of lesbian, feminist, hippie.
Yeah, the lesbian Nazi really that people are thinking. Yeah.
Beautiful. She's a beautiful young girl, very bright. Like, that is exactly what they wanted her to. She couldn't have been more comically drawn for the Republican Party to attack. Let's be frank. Because of the
she's everything they're afraid of, right? Everything they've been talking about. The gay agenda is going to make our daughters lesbian, and they're going to look like this, and they're going to be that. And yeah, exactly. Sex ed made her a lesbian. Being Cuban made her a communist. You know, all these stupid things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just before, would you want to finish what you want to say about her?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to, like I said previously, every time I see a stupid story or a senseless story or a horrific story involving a gun that could have been prevented, I'm going to talk about it. So brought to you this week, we have a 7-month-old baby that was shot by his 4-year-old brother because there was a gun that he was able to get in the house.
Jesus Christ.
Now, the child at the time of the story hadn't died, but they were pretty bad. I don't know, you know, thoughts and prayers, I guess. That's the standard answer, right? Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
But yeah, the mother was at home, but she had a gun that this child was able to get, and it literally takes seconds.
You know, as bad as I feel that, you know, a kid got shot, it's kind of like, yeah, that's what you get. That's what he I don't want to say deserved, but
yeah,
almost at that point where it's like, yeah, you kind of deserve
the outcome that
children,
the outcome that you should expect. Horribly, that's the outcome you should expect,
right? I mean, I understand that a gun is a tool. It is a tool, but it's a tool with its only purpose is to murder.
It's to kill.
It's got no other fucking purpose except to kill. Yes, I understand that you go to a range and you can have a lot of fun just on the range. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't, but that tool's purpose was to fucking kill something. It's not like a knife. You know what I mean? Knives have been around forever because they have a real fucking purpose. You know, we need
cutting.
We need to exactly. A gun was invented just to fucking kill people.
So many have children. I remember when Logan was little, because Logan has always been fixated on guns.
Yep.
We never let him have toy guns, and he would take. We had these little foam, you know, those little foam numbers and letters.
Yeah.
Yes.
He would take his 7s and his L's, and he would make guns out of them.
Yeah.
You know, this kid always, and we never. I mean, he didn't see a lot of stuff at that age. He was like 1.5 doing that. Like, we weren't watching gun shows.
I think
so
that's
it just
natural.
Yeah, it came instinctual to him.
Right? Like, it really is.
when he started being old enough to go to friends' houses, and Marley too, I would say, you know what, like, if you ever see a gun there, you need to right away, you know, tell me if, you know, and don't ever pick it up. And if the kid picks it up, run and tell the mother or father, because it's very dangerous. And I mean, I don't know. I think Logan probably would have picked it up had he seen a gun in real life. Now, he saw Papa's guns. His Papa's a hunter.
Yeah.
And he would let Logan look at them. Of course, they were safe. And he always kept them locked in his gun locker when, you know, when the kids were there and when they're not being used. But, you know, I really think Logan would have picked up a gun and played with it as a child. It's scary. That's why you don't have guns in your house with little kids, man.
But these are conversations that I feel like are becoming normal. Yeah. It shouldn't be normal conversations. You know, if not. I saw an interview with a parent. It was like, you know, those little montage interviews that they do when the rally was going on in New York.
Yeah.
And a parent had said, my 5-year-old in kindergarten has to do drills for shooters.
Yeah.
This is in New York, by the way. This is in New York City. It is so scary.
Can you imagine being 5 though? Having to, that must be really frightening for those kids too. I read one interview where a teacher said one of her kids literally was having a nervous breakdown and was so scared during one of the drills.
Yeah, but how dare any of the lawmakers, this isn't just on the Republicans, this is on both parties. How dare we not protect our children? How dare we not protect our citizens?
How dare we? We're not protecting our citizens. Our children.
We're allowing the NRA to run.
Not with just, I mean, this government, and I'm not just going to put it on this government, but a lot of the governments previously, they're not protecting your environmental rights. They're not protecting your food safety. They're not protecting your drug safety. They don't care about you.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't. They don't care as much as we think they do.
How are you putting millions of dollars in their pocket? Are you a lobbyist? Do you have the money the NRA has to pay off politicians? So no, of course.
That's who they care about. That's who they care about.
Right. Yeah, of course. It's all about re-election. Remember, as soon as I'll never forget a quote from that beautiful show Scandal. As soon as the election is done, the real work begins, because now we got to get you re-elected.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all they're concerned about.
And Trump started, sorry to say his name, he started campaigning the day after he got elected.
Yeah, he got elected. Good luck, though. Good luck, buddy.
Let's hope somebody comes along. Let's do a quick update. This is a story I know that Arthur and I enjoy talking about. This guy, what's his name? I want to say his name because I can't remember. Mad Mike Hughes, this self-taught engineer scientist who was a flat earther and made his rocket.
Oh yeah, this idiot.
So he launched his rocket this weekend. He went up a very, very tall 1,875 feet into the air, which somebody said, I don't know if this is true, is equal to the CN Tower.
Yeah, it's about that.
He nearly killed himself. He could have took an elevator up to the CN Tower to see if the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
Like, what an idiot. Planes go up much higher than that. I don't know.
I don't think he's a flat earther.
That's what a lot of people are saying, that he just wants the money to build his rockets.
Exactly. It's publicity. That's all it is. And the flat earthers have proven time and time again that they are just completely stupid, and they're going to give him money. But yeah, it's fucking grand total of 2,000 feet. Like, congratulations. Like, I could probably a fucking tennis ball that high. The fuck is wrong with you?
I know, and he keeps saying he wants to build a rocket into actual space. God, dude, you're gonna kill yourself.
Wait, but I didn't think there was actual space.
Well, this is his point, right? So you can get up there into whatever the hemisphere, whatever our dome is, and get up there and see what's down there.
Yeah, the firmament. Oh, the fucking flat earthers. What a bunch of fucking idiots. Like, you know, it takes a real special kind of fucking stupid person to believe that shit. Like, it really does. You know, and I'm all for the conspiracies and stuff, you know, like, it is fun, but, like, Jesus fucking Christ, these guys are dumb. And again, it always comes back down to one weird passage in the Bible. It always comes back down to it with them, and it's just, like, how am I supposed to take you serious?
I saw a pretty funny little meme online to flat earthers, and it kind of had the little drawing of what they think the flat earth looks like, right? Yeah. And they had a lamp as the sun, right? And they just basically showed you how, like, daytime, like
how it doesn't
the
work.
sun would never go away.
No.
Right? If we were flat.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that's smart. I never thought about that. I don't think about flat Earth that much, to be honest.
Any of it, like honestly, spend an afternoon like really delving into the way they think and shit, and it's just so comical. It's so funny to see their evidence. Like, so from what I've been able to gather about it, they believe that the Milky Way. So if you can see the Milky Way, which I know none of us can because we live in cities, too much light pollution.
Yeah.
They believe that that's a crack in the firmament, and when that crack happened, that allowed in all the water from the heavens onto the earth, and that's how we have the oceans. But there's still a shit ton of water up there, apparently.
Why is it still leaking in? Is that when it rains?
I guess. I guess. I don't know.
So stupid. What makes up for winter then and summer?
Right. Exactly. It makes no sense. How do they explain? And I've asked this question, and they always just kind of send me to some fucking weird YouTube video. Not even. How do you explain craters? How do you explain meteor craters?
Yeah. Or even like a falling star. We watch the falling stars.
Yeah. How do you explain that?
Or shooting stars, meteorites. I guess they're not real stars, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's so weird. I never heard that about the crack in the firmament. Dome, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak their lingo.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll have more updates when this guy, finally Wile E. Coyotes himself off a cliff. I'll be updating it.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Let's talk about this. This is a story that I just read about this morning. I don't know if Ryan's probably not heard about it because it's Toronto based. So there's a restaurant here in Toronto. It's called Antler Kitchen and Bar. They serve a lot of game meat, boar, deer, all kinds of, those sort of things.
Oh my God, I thought I heard you say game meat. I'm like, what?
No. Game.
Okay.
So a lady saw the story. I guess she saw the restaurant and she researched it and she got very angered by it because she's a vegan. And she doesn't like them to eat the meat. And she says that they're not really like hunted animals. They're grown on a farm, so they're not really game, is what she's saying. She doesn't like that he says that the animals are, like kind of like free range. So she started a protest. Now they've protested there, I think 4 times since December.
Yep.
Literally right outside the window with signs in the windows. Yep. For people to hear saying murderer while people are eating their meals and stuff. So Friday, I guess the owner got annoyed. And
he was the chef.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The chef. He came up right to the window with a whole leg of deer and carved it up in front of them. Went back, I guess, cooked it up and came back, sat down and ate the meat in front of them. Now, the funniest part of this is she was shocked that happened.
Right. She's offended.
And you're trying to ruin his freaking business.
Right.
Literally put him out of business. Yeah. And you're upset that he retaliated in a very non-violent way. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's fucking amazing. Like
Me too.
He's just earned a customer. Like I'm going there next time I'm in the city.
Well, Patton Oswalt, the comedian, has tweeted he will be coming when he comes to Toronto. He'll be going there. And their reservations are so out of control. I guess they're booked for a long time now, as of just today.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
The fact is, like, cool, you're a vegan, awesome, wicked. That's cool. That's great. It's cool that you've taken such a fucking moral standpoint on the foods you eat that you feel morally superior. Cool, awesome. Here's a fucking sticker for you. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Now, yes, okay, the deer are grown on a farm. They have to be. You cannot sell wild meat in Canada. Yeah. You can't do it. I don't know about in the States. I'd assume it's the same. That you cannot call an animal.
They have to have them test. What do you call that? Inspected by food inspectors.
The FDA has to fucking give it all clear, right?
Disease runs wild in animals in the wild.
There you go. But fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. It's just I fucking.
Well, you know what? Do we like when Jehovah's come to the door or Mormons come to the door and try to push their religion on us?
Fuck no.
Absolutely not. So don't push your food diet on me. Good for you. Yeah. Good for you that you eat healthy. Wonderful. You know what? If I don't eat game meat, but I'm not going to tell people they can't eat game meat. How dare you?
Well, but it's become so annoying nowadays. Yeah. We went to this very popular. I'm not going to name the name of the place because part of it is my fault. Me and my coworker, as like a girls' night out, went to this cafe. It's in Long Island in New York City. It's pretty, or not New York City, New York State. It's pretty popular. And we went there to find out that everything was vegetarian at the least.
Oh my God.
So you can only imagine.
I'd leave. Literally, I'd leave.
You should have seen my face because, like, you know, I'm pretty dramatic and I'm like,
but you don't eat a lot of meat yourself, but still.
No, I don't. I really mainly consume chicken. And that's really all there is. And I said, I'm like, this is crazy, but I'm not sitting there and screaming my head off going, oh my God, where's the meat? Where's the meat?
Well, go ahead, finish up.
No, I was going to say, I find it stupid by a lot of these vegan activists. Like, you're so dumb. Like, leave me alone. Let me do what it is I feel like is necessary for me to do, for me to live my life as healthily as possible. And you go do what you want to do and go eat plants and dirt. Yeah. If that's what you choose to do. I mean, I'm secretly going to judge you. But because I worked with a vegan before and I was eating a burger, right? And I barely eat burgers, like really, really rarely eat burgers. And she was like, ew. And you know what I said to her? I got up and I got in her face and I said, you were fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this restaurant also serves lentil and beet salad. They have vegan options, chestnut gnocchi, and vegetable lumpia. I don't know what that is. But you know what I mean? They're offering vegetarian options. This lady also tried to blackmail him as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Because she sent him an email saying they would cut down on their protests if they put signs up in the windows talking about animal cruelty in farming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No. And how come she's allowed to do this? Can't he phone the cops on them? Like, when you protest abortions now, remember the law has changed that you have to be whatever it is, 150 feet away or 200 feet. You can't be in front of the actual property anymore. Why? You shouldn't be allowed to protest literally at someone's window, touching their window in their property.
It's a private business. It doesn't have the same protections.
Well, I'd be, oops, my animal fat got dumped out the window by accident on me.
My issue with this whole thing, and not even really an issue, but just kind of a thought is, where the fuck does this stupid bitch get off going and trying to bully this restaurant into fucking doing things her way and then cry and bitch and fucking moan when they show some backbone and go, fuck you, you stupid vegan twat. Yeah. No,
the audacity of this bitch. I'm glad that her name is out there. Let's say her name so everybody can know what a dumb cunt she is. Marnie Ugar.
You know,
Marnie Ugar.
It's just like a video. I seen this video a little while back of these stupid vegan protesters trying to stop a truck of fucking pigs going to the slaughterhouse, thinking the truck driver is going to stop 80,000 pounds of fucking bacon.
Yeah.
Like your scrawny little hippie ass is going to fucking stop that truck. You don't wear enough patchouli oil to fucking, like, you know what I mean? Hurt my fucking senses that much, you stupid vegan fuck.
It's so annoying because I was with, and I did not know that one of the persons that we were with was vegan. And I did not make a joke. Honestly, you guys know I make a joke about anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. Half of them I can't say on the air because they are very inappropriate. And we were at a restaurant, and it was predominantly seafood. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm not going to eat this. I'm not a lesbian. Which is a running joke with me. It really is kind of just a running joke in the gay community that when you say fish, you're referring to vagina, not because you're saying it smells fishy. It's just, you know, it's just the thing.
Yeah.
And this person says, I'm deeply offended. I'm a vegan. And I said, shut the fuck up. Put your ass down. Put your ass down. I'm ridiculous. I'm offended to think that all you can live on is fucking plant-based blah, blah, blah. Like, come on.
Well, again, I mean, their whole argument is just, it's wrong. It's invalid. We know for a fact that plants have feelings. We know that. It's proven. You can't tell me that it's not. Like, you know that if you talk sweetly and nurture a plant, that plant will grow fuller than a plant that's kind of neglected, showing that, you know, plants are they have feelings. You know,
they release chemicals when they're being murdered. They send out signals to other plants. Yeah,
there it is. Right.
I was reading this in comments where people said, "What about you vegetarians? You know, plants feel." Exactly. Oh, they're not sentient. Oh, so you can think it out and have your excuses, but you're still committing murder. You hypocritical.
And here's the thing: when the fucking steak that I'm eating, when that cow got slaughtered, that cow got a pneumatic fucking nail gun essentially to its skull. That thing was dead before it fucking knew it. Yeah. No pain, no nothing. But when you cut up that fucking lettuce, that lettuce has to sit there for a week and die a slow, painful fucking death. So who's really cruel here, you stupid fucking flower child motherfuckers? Fuck all of you.
And there's more, you know what? And I'm not saying, I just, like, people are always going to eat meat, whether you protest or not. Why don't you take your protest to protect animals somewhere else that's more important, like SeaWorld or Marineland, or even like
animal shelters.
Animal shelters, or even some places like, you know, some of these puppy mills, zoos, or even like, you know what, if you see that there's a slaughterhouse that's treating their animals cruelly, fine, go protest there. I'll support you, right? But fucking leave a business alone. Fuck off.
But I'm just so tired of people constantly moaning and bitching about the wrong. We're putting all our efforts in the wrong baskets. You know what I mean? And not to bring up the past conversations, but it's like, oh, we're so worried about hurting the fucking piggy's feelings because we're turning him into fucking bacon. Yet we're not concerned about Tommy, who's getting shot.
Yeah.
Tell me, if they take bacon away, you will see me protest. Okay.
Yeah, no, but no, I don't eat bacon. But it's like you guys understand my point of view. It's like
they don't care about humans
and stuff like that. They don't care. You care more about how the boar died than you did about how fucking. Those 17 people that died at the high school in Florida. Like, come on.
Or let's talk about the latest suicide bombing in freaking Afghanistan or Iraq or Pakistan. Nobody cares about them. You're not protesting that.
Or how every 3 seconds there is an LGBT youth that's at risk for suicide. Come on.
They don't care about that. They care about their agenda, and their agenda is to try to force other people to eat their gross veggies.
Eat their diet.
But I agree with what you said, because it's like, I sometimes get deeply offended when Jehovah's Witnesses knock at my door and try to have a conversation with me about fucking, I know what my faith is. I know what I believe in. I don't need you to rub that in my motherfucking face. I don't want to talk to you about where you think I'm going when I die.
Yeah.
Okay? I know I suck cock and that's it. Leave me alone. Like, I don't care. But part of it is, I think for someone like me, if I was a person like Jacqueline dislikes fur, she absolutely abhors it, right? Like, she does not like fur. Yeah. I happen to think it's very pretty and soft, and I want to wear it.
Yeah.
Now, if I walk around the city and I wear my very expensive fur scarf and I get thrown red paint, somebody's going to pay for that shit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm going to be really
That's the thing. I'm anti-fur for myself. I don't say other people shouldn't wear it. I don't boycott companies because they sell fur. I don't care that much. I think it's cruel to do it. I think if you're going to wear fur, you should eat the animal. But I would never, like, go and protest at Ryan's restaurant because he has fur, you know?
Nah, it's stupid. It's so dumb. I mean, like, no one cares. I mean, like, in all honesty, no one cares. This vegan, like,
blah blah blah.
What's the word I'm looking for? Fuck.
Culture?
No, militant. This militant veganism has been happening for years, for fucking years. I mean, before I even, like, I hate the term, but got woke to the whole feminism shit and the BLM shit and all that kind of fucking social nonsense. I always knew about the vegans and their stupid protests and PETA and their fucking kill shelters and shit like that. And it's always pissed me off because they are very militant. It's about pushing their ideology. And like Ryan was saying, there's no gray area. There's no nuance. It's you think exactly how I think, or you're a fucking, deplorable fucking loser.
You're against us. Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, and what other group is like that? I mean, like, even if you were to join, say, Greenpeace or Amnesty International or one of those kind of rights groups, right? They're not like that. Like, I mean, in Greenpeace, they're kind of, they have their little things. But if you don't agree with them, they're just like, whatever, you're not in this protest, whatever.
It's just so weird, like, how to even take it further from just veganism and just talk about how certain things are, like, at work, it was brought up a conversation about what was it, abortions, and it's always going to be a hot topic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I said everybody's pro-choice, and they were like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Everybody's. Have you ever had an abortion? No. Did you choose not to have one because you have multiple kids? Yes. So you're pro-choice because you chose not to have one. I was like, simple. Let's end the conversation there because we shouldn't be discussing politics at work to begin with, right? But everybody has a choice in life. This is something I've learned very recently through the things that I have gone through in my life, especially in the past year. As I've said, we all have choices that we have to make sometimes, whether it is something we're comfortable with or not comfortable with. And we just have to learn to deal with the repercussions that come with them. You know that if you have an abortion, there's going to be a person that goes against you. And you know that if you don't have one, well, you're going to have, potentially, I think the average now is at least $300,000 worth of debt if you have a kid. So that decision's up to you. Neither or is bad or good. It just is. Sometimes it's just a fact. I'm stealing my coworker Catherine's. Hi, Catherine, because I know she's listening now. It's just a fact. Neither is bad or good. It just is. Sometimes in life, it just is. Shooting somebody, that's bad.
Yeah.
But choosing to eat meat, it just is. It's just a way of living.
Why do I have canines? Why do every single human being, why do we have canine teeth? Why do we have wisdom teeth? Oh, that's right, because we are evolutionary fucking meat eaters. Fuck out of here. Like,
even in the Bible it says God gave his dominion over the animals, right?
Right. But it just kind of brings me back to the kind of flat earth style thinking where anything that doesn't fit their own fucking narrative is thrown out as junk science, and then they come back at you with their own junk fucking science.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I've argued this point so many times because I've been getting in this vegan argument for years. We cannot sustain a population of 7 billion people around the world on fucking vegetables.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you fucking tree huggers are willing to do away with all the fucking trees that you're claiming to protect.
We don't have enough land.
Do it. We cannot fucking do it. Yeah. And then you've got to start thinking about the watershed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to do for the water? We need water to live more so.
I was going to say, what is it like
protein?
That 90% of the water source that we have is not drinkable because it's too salty. Come on, people.
It's ocean water.
Well, I want to know what these vegans are going to say when lab-grown meat is available. Are they going to protest lab-grown meat?
Of course, because it's unethical.
How? Nothing was hurt or injured or...
Still is. They're going to find a way to find it unethical, Jacqueline.
Exactly.
You know how people are.
Trust me, I'm going to be the first person to try that lab-grown meat because I want to see if it tastes good.
It's the same people that went against stem cell research and then to find out that it was actually going to be beneficial to us.
Yeah.
To everybody.
To everybody. To have stem cell research. Do you know how many diseases could have been cured if we just continued? Oh, but of course,
Well, let's go on then, because there's a story came out today, which I think it's a little misleading, the headline, because it says promising cancer vaccine is set to begin human trials. Now, this is not really a vaccine.
Well, yeah, you can't vaccinate cancer.
Yeah, exactly. But it's 2 shots. It's 2 injections. Okay. They're immune stimulating agents. So what they do is they cause the tumor, the T cells in the tumor, to recognize that cancer is there and then to destroy the cancer cells, which has been almost impossible for us to do other than with chemotherapy. So they do that in the local tumor, and they'll also reach out and locate any secondary masses. They've done it in mice. It's worked in mice. And this is only like a couple of months old that they did this, and they're already moving to human trials because I guess there's nothing poison or, dangerous to humans. I hope
so far that we know of.
I hope and assume.
Was this at Stanford?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was reading about this. Yeah. No, that's fucking great. That's
97% cure rate.
Yeah, that's great.
But watch, some fucking group is gonna be fucking protesting.
Well, you know what? If I had lymphoma or I had some fucking brain tumor,
sign me up.
I would let them try it because you don't have much else hope.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah. People don't understand. It's like sometimes in life we're just trying to fucking live. It's like people are just so busy trying to just find reasons as to why not, why you couldn't, why you can't.
Yeah.
And I understand people are afraid of science because we're afraid that we're going to have clones or we're going to have, we're going to be controlled by science. I understand the fears, but like without using stem cells, right? Without using even like, I remember back, they still do, but like the fetal cells, right? That's what they're using, fetal cells, to make Band-Aids now. Band-Aids that will cure your scars and you will not have a scar. So imagine if you're a burn victim. And your face is horribly burnt. Because I have people that come into my work on the regular that have horrible burns on their faces.
and from attacks, not attacks or accidents that we couldn't avoid. People. I go back to this whole conversation. If you would allow me 5 minutes, just kind of talk about this. This is really going to be on a very mature and hopefully wisdom-filled level.
That remains to be seen, but okay, go ahead.
Oh, you're such a bitch. Why you're so disrespectful to me. With situations like burn victims, acid victims and stuff, right? Or even people who had to have surgery at a very young age and they have these very prominent scars. Yeah. These people didn't have much of a choice. And so what we could do with the research that plastic surgery, science advancements that we can do for them, we give them back the choice. We give them back some sort of life.
A lot of these people are like recluses that very rarely leave their houses. Like if it's anywhere on your face and neck.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's hard because people will stare at you.
Yeah. People will stare. People will judge. Yeah. Even though they don't know, people just do. It's human nature. Something that's not like us. We judge it. Oh, yeah. We just do. I don't know how, why, when, where.
It's tribalism.
Yeah.
It really is. It all
something that's different or weird or freaky. We're gonna stare at and we're gonna be like, oh my God. I actually read an article. Can I just say this quickly? I don't know. I can't remember their name. It's a trans person, trans woman. Okay. I don't know if she goes by she. I don't want to be offensive, but she was saying that instead of telling your children, don't stare or don't say anything, or it's not nice to talk to strangers, right? That you should take that minute and then say to the kids, you know what? Sometimes men like to dress as women. Sometimes men are in a different body. Sometimes men like to wear makeup, and take that option to then kind of educate your kids, which I thought is a nice idea. But then, sometimes kids are too little for that.
Well,
they'll just point. Like I remember Logan looked at a midget when he was like a year old and pointed and laughed. And I was like, sorry, little person.
Yeah, I was going to say, what the fuck are you using that fucking derogatory fucking word for?
That was very bad of me. I apologize. Yeah. And, but at the time, that's the word we used. So that's what was in my head. And I was just like, what are you going to say to a 1-year-old? They don't know.
I'll just say that dude had no more use for his penis. I have no idea.
Oh my God. Anyway, let's not be afraid of science and let's embrace it too, except for AI technology. I'm scared of that.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
My thing with that, with the deniers and the people that are like, oh, fucking stem cells and shit. Show me one of these deniers that doesn't have a deep religious leaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. People that are even, and I'm not saying this is like complete, anyone who has any kind of faith is like this, but when you look at like the seriously devout, they all are very, very scared of this kind of shit. Mm-hmm. But I mean, none of them try to fix their cancer with thoughts and prayers. They still go for chemo.
It doesn't cure. Well, some people do. They try to go to those like witch doctors and drink,
but those
olive
are
oil
hippies.
And
those are fucking hippies, and you know my feelings on hippies.
Or Jehovah's.
Yeah,
they don't really do science either.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame that you would completely forego any type of medical invention because your faith. The fact of the matter is, and I mean we just said it. Every single day that you wake up without you even knowing it, you are fighting for your survival. That is
absolutely
evolutionary. That is inside of you. You have no idea you're doing it, but you are doing it every fucking day.
Every day. Everybody's a fighter.
Every day. Everybody's a fighter. That's just the nature of life. Like that's life. Like life is a constant.
And there's so many microscopic things out there that just want to kill us.
Oh fuck yeah. I'm fighting off one of those bastards right now.
Yeah. So let's talk. I want to go on to this story because I think Arthur will enjoy this story too. Okay, so just before I go into the story, do you ever believe that stereotypes can be true or are true?
100%.
Yes.
Asian bad drivers.
100%.
White people can't jump.
100%.
White people can't dance. I'm trying to think of some stereotypes. The French. People don't like the French, right? They're rude. Is that the saying?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so there's this guy, Guillaume Ray. He's, I'm assuming, from Quebec somewhere. He's suing a Vancouver restaurant. He's suing Milestones Restaurant.
Okay.
Because he worked there as a waiter, and they fired him because he basically went after another server pretty badly that the server was left in tears.
Okay.
So they fired him. Now he's suing them, and his reason that he shouldn't have been fired is it's not his fault. He's just French.
No, I'm sorry.
What?
Being from fucking Quebec is not a fucking excuse to be
maybe
an asshole.
He's actually from France, because he says it's about Canada and French. So maybe he's from France.
No, that's the sentiment towards the Quebecers. Because here's the thing, attitudes in the rest of our country have really improved towards the Quebecers. And it really has. It's nowhere near where it was, back
I remember in the 80s and the 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to Quebecers, they're still living in that time frame where they believe that the rest of Canada, as they call us, the ROC, still hate them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't hate the French just because they're French. I mean, I hate them because they have this chip on their shoulder and they're always cocksuckers to me whenever I'm in their fucking province. But, I don't hate you just because you're fucking French. Like, what kind of racist bullshit is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's 2018. I'm not allowed to hate on you for, the lowest common denominator. So I got to figure out a reason why I actually hate you there, fucking Guillermo.
Now, do you think he's going to go anywhere?
Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not. No fucking, not even the most liberal fucking judge in the world is going to be like, oh, now you got a real case here. No, you're
well, he went to a tribunal of some sort, and the eatery tried to dismiss his complaint, but the tribunal denied the request, so it's still going forward.
No doubt. I'm sure they're going to play the whole damn scenario out. But he's dumb. He's fucking stupid. You have no right to be fucking mad because you were an asshole. I can just
picture him like that, that French guy with the slick back hair and a little skinny, sniffing the little skinny mustache, and he's just sniffing at the patrons and stuff.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I will say this, when I went now, I haven't stopped in Quebec a lot. Mm-hmm. We've only stopped a few times, but I will say I never once had a rude French person. And I mean, we stopped in like real Quebec. We didn't stop in just Montreal and Quebec City. We were stopping in like little towns at Tim Hortons. We stopped at a grocery store just outside of just before we got to the New Brunswick border. Yeah. Nobody spoke English.
No.
And they were still very kind. Maybe after they left, they're like stupid Anglophone assholes. I don't know, but they were very kind to us and very accommodating. So I don't want to say anything bad because I personally haven't experienced that in Quebec. I know everybody talks about it, but they were kind to me.
Sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
All right, I'm just going to, my own little personal story of assholes in Quebec. So I was taking the bus home about 11 years ago now to go spend Christmas with my parents. So my bus had a 3-hour layover in Montreal. Now, Montreal, I've never had an issue. Everyone there, they're bilingual. And even if they're not, they're fairly helpful people. So I go to this little cantina to get myself a cheeseburger and a poutine to pass the time. I order the poutine fine, and I say, can I get a cheeseburger with just ketchup and mayo on it? And me and this
should have said a Royale with cheese.
Here's the thing. Me and this bitch went back and forth for about 15 minutes with me saying cheeseburger and her saying burger avec fromage. And I kept saying, bitch, you understood the fucking cheeseburger. Yeah, Sell me a motherfucking cheeseburger. Burger avec fromage. And she was just such a fucking cunt the entire time. Like, you could just see her on her fucking francophone.
Couldn't you just have given it to her and been like, oui?
Oh, my God. Like, I said cheeseburger. You understand cheeseburger. Sell me a motherfucking cheeseburger before I hop this counter and piss on your product. Like, I was so I had just gotten off a bus. I was 36 hours on a fucking bus already to get to Montreal, which is 3 hours away from me. Sell me a motherfucking cheeseburger. And she was doing it just to be difficult. Just to be a fucking bitch. She did this to me. As the one time I had like a really fucking like that quintessential fucking like fuck you, you Frenchy bastard fucking moment.
I will say I will say this about the French. We had a visitor from France here, and we were kind of touring them. And there's always this thing that a lot of people say about America. It's so tacky or whatever, and they say it in this very posh accent that they have. And the person said, well, in France, everything is different. And I kind of turned around and I was like, well, we're not in France now.
Yeah, exactly.
Why'd you come here if you like France?
This is the United States. And he was like, oh, typical American attitude. I said, that's not fair because it's not about nationalism. It's not about pride. But it is very unfair to compare a country with a very young history to a country that it's had what the hundreds, if not at least 1,000 years.
Thousands
a couple of thousand years.
I'm being nice by saying at least 1,000 years worth of history. It's like we don't have these big beautiful buildings that are as old as.
If we went back to France when they were only a few hundred years old, they were still freaking cannibal barbarians. Shut up.
But don't let that shit confuse you, because all those buildings are only about 60 years old anyway. I mean, they did get bombed to all fucking hell not that long ago.
Yeah.
But that's a typical European attitude. It really is. You know, and I've loved the time I've got to spend in Europe. I really have. The people are fucking great. The history's amazing. It's fucking beautiful. But they do. They look down at North Americans, you know, down their fucking nose at us. Because we are young and we don't have the history. We don't have a Napoleon or a Churchill. Fuck you. We got Trump. Suck that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I listened to quite a few years ago, Robbie Williams had a podcast that he did. It was a 3-part podcast where he talked about him and his friends smoking dope and then going to this haunted house. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about when he was in Los Angeles, and they're like, oh, this house is 150 years old. And he's like, 150 years old? We got shit older than that in UK, right? And the UK's been there a long time, but, you know, why are you in Los Angeles then buying a house if the UK is so great?
You know, I went to a pub in England that had been in the same spot, never really renovated except, you know, to modernize it. 600 fucking years. It's still the exact same spot for 600 years. That's cool. That's great. That's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But you don't get to come over here and judge us. I mean, let's not forget that it was you stupid fucking Brits and you fucking frog eaters that put us here. So fuck you. Fuck you. Like, get off your fucking high horse and realize that we're your bastard fucking children.
Not just that. I mean, let's look at the colonial places that a lot of these places made. And I'm not trying to diss any third world countries. But if you want to talk about what's successful, we're the colonies that are thriving.
Yeah.
You know? So don't judge us. We're doing as well as we can, okay?
But no, that's just typical. That's I mean, even the Quebecers, I've noticed, have a very kind of atypical European attitude towards North America. Like, they even think that they're more cultured than us.
Oh yeah, they do think they're better.
That's fine. You know, you can think that all you fucking want, but you're
doesn't make it true.
I mean, let's face it. Quebec's claim to fame is putting fucking gravy on cheese curds on fries. Like, oh great,
God, so good. Excuse me. Oh my God, excuse me, Arthur.
Oh, seriously though, fuck that shit. Like, they're not Parisian, and they like to carry themselves off as they are.
Well, even the French from France will look down on a Quebecer.
Oh yeah, they do.
Quebecois.
Because they're not real Quebec, right? They're not real French. So.
Well, but it's the same thing with, like, okay, for example, with Filipinos, right? Mm-hmm. It's always been said that Filipinos from the province, which is Cebu, are beautiful and they're talented. First of all, a lot of the maids come from there, so they're not really that beautiful.
Well, you can be a beautiful maid.
Okay, sure.
I've seen plenty of movies that start off with pretty maids, so
Jennifer Lopez. And the other thing that they believe is, like, you know, they're very talented because they know how to sing. A lot of Filipinos know how to sing because of karaoke. Now, the thing that bothers me the most with these, what do you call that? The what's the word? What was the word that we were using? The stereotypes that we attach to individuals is that there is some sort of truth behind it.
Yeah.
Now, the truth sometimes isn't that obvious, but, you know, I'll give them a little bit of credit and say, yeah, you know what, you're right. French, I mean, there's the French kind of are, they're kind of famous really for being a little rude.
Oh, absolutely.
Frank, I'm sorry.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Like, they're known across the world as just being assholes about being self-centered fucking pricks.
Whether they're touring other countries or whether people have come to France to visit and have been treated like shite. Right?
You know, it's why I always find it funny, because there is a huge sentiment of, like, anti-Americanism in France, because they think all Americans are assholes. Now, that's a fair point. The country of 300 million
except for
people.
Jerry Lewis.
But you know what I mean? Like, when in reality, if you just, you know, looked at yourself in the mirror, you'd realize, like, you're not that fucking great yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're really not. And even, like, to that point, though, I thought it was funny, but after thinking about it and reflecting on it a bit, it kind of pissed me off. So when we were in Germany, we had to get a SIM card for my friend Daniel's phone. Right. So we're in there, and we're dealing with the lady, and she, you know, speaks perfect enough English and shit, so that wasn't the issue. But she was being really fucking rude and abrasive to us. She thought we were American. We pulled out his passport to pay for the fucking thing because you need a passport to get the international SIM. And the second she's seen that we were Canadian, she completely changed gears. And I found that to be kind of offensive. Yeah. Solely for the fact that I'm Canadian and I'm a fucking dick. Like, I'm just as much of an asshole as the fucking Yanks that you claim to hate.
Yeah, you're probably more dickish than a lot of the Americans I talk to.
You know what I mean? And, like, I've tried to say this so many times. Like, I kind of hate that anti-American bullshit on that level because, like, all the assholes I know are Canadian. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I know some really ignorant fucking, like, racists and fucking just bullshit fucking people. I don't know. It's just, it's weird how we put these geographical stereotypes on entire countries because, well, essentially because we're told to by it.
Well, because all Canadians are nice.
Yeah, we're all nice. Like, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of assholes.
Right? I mean, Luka Magnotta wasn't that nice of a guy, was he?
No.
Oh, yeah, he was not that. Or Kyle Homolka.
Was he? No, he was from here, right? He wasn't from Quebec. He just killed in Quebec.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't know where he was. I know he like resided in Quebec because again, he was an artsy guy.
From Scarborough? I think Scarborough because I remember Ryan kept teasing me about Luka Magnotta.
That wouldn't surprise
me. Or Carla Homolka wasn't that friendly either.
No, right?
Oh, she was very friendly. She just wanted to eat your puss and then kill you. So.
Well, but there's this stereotype about New Yorkers. I've been told this, and I've always thought I was a pleasant person. Again, delusions of grandeur here. I was on the train with a bunch of tourists I don't know, and they were just bitching and moaning. And it was a packed train, but this is an everyday thing for me. This is an everyday thing for anybody who's in New York who takes the public transit.
Yeah.
And I remember screaming, then go the fuck back to where you came from if you think it's too hot and crowded.
No.
And everybody kind of just started to clap. I'm like, we don't need you to give us tourist money.
Yeah.
We don't rely on your tourist money.
Well, you kind of do, because after 9/11, you guys suffered a lot. You do need tourist money, too.
We did.
But if I'm a tourist, I'm not traveling during rush hour. Sorry. I'm going to walk around my hotel in New York City, or, I'm going to sleep in. I'm not going to tour, rush hour.
When I go to places, I try to avoid. See, people just aren't. Part of it is that people are not smart. People don't realize that maybe when you're traveling, you shouldn't be. Yeah, well, people aren't. We feel entitled to a lot of things.
Yeah,
we do.
Well, there's no tourist line. Okay, buddy. So if you want to rub with the, elbows with the locals, you're going to get the local treatment.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Let's talk about this quickly before we end the show, because I think it's a sad story, but it's a hilarious story at the same time. So I had to look up this town, Rotorua. Apparently that's in New Zealand.
Okay.
So a Rotorua man has admitted to telling a woman that he'd been forced to drink poison and would die unless she performed certain sexual acts on him within 48 hours. So he basically said he had to get 4 blowjobs and three full intercourses to exhaust the toxin from his system. He had emails sent to her to back up his story from supposedly unknown people. The reason he couldn't get the cure from the person who poisoned him is because they took a plane away. So his only cure was this sex way. She did it. Of
course. Hey, if you have the chance to save a life, you have to save that life. You know what I mean?
No, go to the doctors, buddy. Now he is being charged with coercion. But who falls for that?
That bitch, apparently.
That's ridiculous. And maybe that's the worst pickup line I've ever heard, and she fell for it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I applaud the guy. That's ingenious.
Well, ballsy. Yeah. It's ballsy. Worst pickup line you ever gave or was given?
Nice shoes, wanna fuck?
The worst pickup. Actually, I have something worse than that. I have the worst pickup line. I just want to put my dick inside of you.
Oh, that's very romantic.
Very romantic.
It's to the point. I mean, look, at least that person laid it all out on the table. Like, look, man,
was this pre-Tinder? Because that definitely seems like something Tinder-ish.
It's Tinder-ish. That was definitely Tinder-ish.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, we're all adults here, you want to just come right out and say
I would appreciate that more so than I'm poisoned and I'm going to die if you don't have sex with me.
That's hilarious.
I have to say I've never had that those kind of lines used on me. like pick up lines like that. Like I'm at a bar, nobody ever came up to me and be like, "Oh, you look like you fell from heaven," or whatever those stupid lines are.
See, like you're not gonna catch anything with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But the worst line was used by my husband, who said, "Oh, it's hot in here. I'm going to take my shirt off."
No, he did not do that.
He did.
Oh, my God.
I fell in love with him a little bit at that minute because it was so bad.
Oh, that's so cheesy. How could you not?
Yeah. He looked good with that his shirt on. So
now,
it was okay.
I have to know, though, did he do it on purpose to be cringy? Or was he like, did he really think he was smooth?
He said it was on purpose to be cringy, but deep down in my heart, I believe he was trying to be smooth.
He thought he was smooth. Oh,
I feel like he got his lines. Remember The Simpsons? Because remember the guy, one of the bullies, uses that line on the
Jimbo.
babysitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that he got his line from there.
That's fucking so good.
I love him. I love him to death.
Oh, that sounds like something I would do.
Well, it worked. So.
Hello, they've been together forever.
Yeah, I guess, eh?
Maybe I'm just the kind of person that falls for cheesy lines. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, he should have started with the poison line, I think. I think that was genius.
Well, I mean, if you ever find yourself single again, keep that in your repertoire.
With how lazy I am, if I end up fucking single, I'm just paying hookers. Like, I don't even give a fuck.
I just want to say that was very disrespectful of Jacqueline because she knows that I'm the only one that's single on this panel. Wow, that was very disrespectful of you, Jacqueline. Don't talk to me anymore. Wow.
Okay. Anyway, so that will end the show. Thanks for listening. I think I'll be back on. I don't know. It's Easter. I think I'm back on Sunday with Justin for our TV attack, and I'm assuming you guys will be back here on Monday.
Yeah, I got my living area, workable, so I should be good to go now.
Good. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye.